Hey, everybody. Hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the Word. And today, that word is work. Work. Now, we know there's a lot of work going on here in this passage, and I pray as always that you're reading along and even reading the whole chapter. You see where this is going each and every day. But today, continuing in Nehemiah chapter 4, and just going to pick up right where we left off yesterday, we see that the attacks were coming, but the work needed to be done. So it's something that we see that the work continues, and you may say, okay, well, look, they prayed, so that means that the enemy is going to leave them alone. No, it doesn't. Seldom does it mean that the enemy is just going to walk away. But when we have our attention on God, when we have our focus on Him and His Word and His will and way and His plan, His divine purpose for us, then we don't focus on the enemy. We know that they're there. We're well aware of what they're capable of doing. But we keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. So here today, as we go to the work that is continuing to be done, and unfortunately the attacks that continue as well, picking up right where we left off yesterday, starting Nehemiah chapter 4, starting in verse 6, going to read down to verse 9 today. It says, "So we built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. Now it happened when Sanballat, Tobiah, the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were being restored and the gaps were beginning to be closed, that they became very angry. And all of them conspired together to come and attack Jerusalem and create confusion. Nevertheless, we made our prayer to our God, and because of them, we set a watch against them day and night." Now, isn't it something, as I said, that the work continued, but so did the attacks? Isn't it something that even when the enemy sees that their first attack didn't work, they didn't just give up and turn around and go home? No, they're going to plan something worse. They conspire to create confusion. And I even mentioned this Sunday as well that, we serve a God who is not the God of confusion and chaos. He's a God of order and structure and design. Satan is the author of confusion. He's the father of lies. And so all he seeks to do, you think about how many times in your life, right, that you failed to accomplish the work that God has in store for you. And I bet you it was a lot of confusion that was going around it, right? I mean, you go back to the Garden of Eden, right? That as Eve was there, remember what Satan says? Well, did God really say that? See, just that seed of doubt was enough to create or to allow sin to enter in, that she succumbed to the temptation, even knowing full well what she was doing, but she was kind of tricked and deceived, right? We know Adam just flat out sinned. He wasn't tricked at all. He knew what it was, and he just said, well, I'm going to just directly disobey God. But when Eve heard it, right, she's thinking, well, wait a minute, did God really say that? Well, yeah, he said we couldn't even touch it. Well, that's not exactly what God said either. So it's amazing that how Satan uses the same tricks that he's always used. And it's one of those is confusion. So as we talk about the work that needed to be done, I love seeing that the people had a mind to work. They had they had in their hearts and and within their bodies, within their strength to have that desire and that drive to go ahead and continue the work. But can you imagine how frustrating it would be to continue to hear that the enemy is still on attack? See, and that's why I wanted to kind of follow up with this work today, and this will really go into tomorrow as well as the attacks continue to come. But here's, I guess, my question, and I think the question the Lord has for all of us today is, are you willing to keep working? Are you willing to do the work God has called you to do, no matter what the outcome may be? I think a lot of times we're willing to do the work, but only if it comes without any warfare, only if it comes without any distractions or without any temptation, without any roadblocks. It's like we'll do what God calls us to do, but only if it's the easy way. So I guess today the simple question is, are you willing to work towards what God has called you to do and work even for what God has called you to do? We don't work for salvation, we work from salvation. But are we working towards accomplishing His will? Are we working towards doing what He's called us to do, no matter what the outcome may be? God bless you, and I pray you have a great great day.